my friends of Philadelphia, the American people have not forgotten the condition of the United States in 1932. We all remember the failures of the banks, the breadlines of starving men and women, the youth of the country riding around in freight cars, the farm foreclosures, the home foreclosures, the bankruptcy, and the panic. And what happened? At the very hour of complete collapse, the American people called for new leadership. That leadership, this administration and a Democratic Congress supplied. Government no longer callous to suffering, moves swiftly to end distress, to halt depression, to secure social and economic justice for all. The very same men who must bear the responsibility for the inaction of those days are the ones who now dare falsely to state that we are all still in the depth of the depression into which they plunged us. That we have prevented the country from recovering, and that it is headed for the chaos of bankruptcy. They have even gone to the extent of stating that this administration has not made one man a job. I say that those statements are false. I say that the figures of employment, of production, of earnings, of general business activity will prove that they are false. The tears, the crocodile tears. Tears for the laboring man and laboring woman now being shed in this campaign come from those same Republican leaders who had their chance to prove their love for labor in 1932 and missed it. Yes, back in 1932, those leaders were willing to let the workers starve if they could not get a job. Back in 1932, they were not willing to guarantee collective bargaining. Back in 1932, the demands of unemployed veterans with troops and tanks. Back in 1932, they raised their hands in horror at the thought of fixing a minimum wage or maximum hours for labor. They never gave one thought to such things as pensions for old age or insurance for the unemployed. And in 1940, 8 years later, what a different tune is played by them. It is a tune played against a sounding board of Election Day. It is a tune with overtones which whisper, votes, votes. Yes, these same Republican leaders are all for the new progressive measures now. They believe in them. They believe in them so much that they will never be happy until they can clasp them to their own chests and put their own brand upon them. Yes, if they could only get control of them, they plead, they would take so much better care of them. Honest to goodness, they would. Let us call the roll of some of the specific improvements in the lot of the working men and women that have come about during the past 8 years. More than 42 million American employees are now members of the old age pension system. An additional 2 million men and women over 65 years of age are now receiving cash grants each month. 29 million American employees have been brought under the protection of unemployment insurance. Collective bargaining has been guaranteed. A minimum wage has been established. A maximum work week of 40 hours has been fixed with provision for time and a half for overtime. And last but by no means least, child labor has been outlawed. The average hourly earnings of factory workers were 56 cents in the boom year of 1929. By February 1933, before I went to Washington, they had dropped to 45 cents an hour. They are now 67 cents an hour, not only higher than in 1933, but mark you, nearly 11 cents an hour higher than in 1929 itself. Factory pay envelopes, most of you get them, had fallen to $5 billion a year by 1932. By 1940, factory payrolls are running at the rate of twice as much, $10 billion. And something else. We must not forget that the cost of living today is 22% lower than it was in 1929. And that means something to the average American family. It may be hard for some of you younger people to remember the dismal kind of world which the youth of America faced in 32. The tragedy of those days is past. There is today in the youth of the nation a new spirit, a new energy, a new conviction that a sounder and more stable economy is being built for them. In 1940, this generation of American youth can truly feel that they have a real stake in the United States. Through many government agencies, the CCC, the NYA, and others, millions of youth have benefited by training, by education, and by jobs. And we propose, my friends, in the interests of justice and in the interests of defense, too, to broaden the work and extend the benefits of both these agencies. For they are a part of the lines of defense, training men and women for essential defense and for other forms of industry, educating them to self-reliance, to moral resistance against that way of life that ignores the individual. The one thing which must be extended if we would help the young men and women of the nation is to give them the opportunity to work. We have recognized that through the right to vote, the right to learn, the right to speak, the right to worship, we, the government of the United States, adds the right to work.